What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my Browns Cowboys Week 1 game preview. And after 8 long months of waiting, Browns football officially returns this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. as our beloved Cleveland Browns are back in the Dawg Pound as they welcome Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the Dallas Cowboys to town with Tom Brady in the broadcast booth for what should be an absolute banger. Now, for the Cleveland Browns, this year has the potential to be a pretty fun season as the Browns look to do something that they haven't done since the 1988 and 1989 seasons, and that is, of course, make the playoffs in back to back seasons. Yeah, that's correct. The Browns have not made the playoffs in back to back seasons since the last year under Marty Schottenheimer, absolute legend, and the first year under Bud Carson. In fact, since those 2 seasons, the Browns have only made the playoffs 4 times. Of course, 1994, they went 11-5, lost in the divisional round under Bill Belichick. Then, of course, they made it again in 2002, a couple years after the Browns returned as a franchise under Butch Davis. And of course, we all remembered what happened in that game, right? Wild card loss in Pittsburgh. That game still lives in many Browns fans' nightmares to this day. Mm-hmm. They had that game won. They were dominating. But of course, Heinz Field, or now Acrisure Stadium, continues to be a house of horrors for the Browns. But have no fear. In 2020, the Browns avenged that loss as they went into Acrisure slash Heinz Field and they beat the Steelers. Granted, there was no fans, so some people might say, hey, it doesn't count. All right, it counts. It counts, all right. Especially to us Browns fans. It counts. Oh, yeah. It don't matter if there's no fans there, right? I mean, yeah, we didn't even have our coach. So, yeah, it definitely counts, right? Man, what a season that was. But, Browns, of course, made it last year. I mean, it's almost this exact same kind of adversity as they did in 2020, just a different kind. Whereas instead of a mass sickness, it was the injury bug. And they still went out and made the playoffs while playing 4 different quarterbacks. I mean, they had Joe Flacco starting a damn playoff game. And they were in that game against the Texans until he threw 2 pick sixes. And then that was it. So, yeah, we're trying to make it back to back seasons with a playoff appearance. And Kevin's trying to make it to the playoffs in 3 of his first 5 seasons, which I think could very well happen. Of course, for the Browns, this year's schedule is not going to be easy at all. But as long as this team stays healthy, I think they can definitely make some noise. Now, before I get into this game against the Cowboys, I actually have some stadium news to talk about, and it kind of has something to do with the new stadium, which, of course, hasn't even broken ground yet. They're still trying to figure out where they're going to put it. But we do know one thing: no matter when they build it or where they build it, it will have a new name. As earlier today, an announcement was made by the Haslam Sports Group that they had a big announcement. They announced that they had an announcement to make. How about that, right? And that announcement was a new stadium name. I had a hunch. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not only most likely will the new stadium have a new name, but the place you see behind me now has a new naming rights partner. And as you see by the tweet and the picture on your screen, Huntington Bank Field. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I know Browns fans kind of don't like it. Some getting used to, but honestly, it is kind of better than First Energy Stadium because, the whole legal thing with First Energy, that kind of made it sour in my mind, right? I mean, having a company that's in legal trouble as your naming rights partner, yeah, not a great look. And I mean, you go around Cleveland, there are tons of Huntington Banks and Huntington Bank ATMs all over the place. So, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, the Browns officially announced it earlier today on Twitter. You see the tweet on your screen, and I quote, "Your second home has a new name. Introducing Huntington Bank Field." Now, Zach Jackson, who covers the Browns, has some more information for us as he tweeted this out shortly after the announcement was made, and I quote, "The Browns announce a 20-year partnership with Huntington Bank for the existing or new home of the Browns." So again, Huntington Bank Field will be the name of the place behind me and the new stadium when and wherever they build it. Which I don't know where they're going to build it or when. I think we know more about when than where. Some people say Brook Park, but of course it hasn't been finalized yet because they're still fighting about it. The city of Cleveland is not just laying down when it comes to this. They are trying so hard to keep the Browns where they currently are. Like they're just saying, guys, you guys could just stay here and we'll renovate this dump. Do you really think this place is going to survive a damn renovation? Hell no. Besides, where would the Browns even play? Right? At least if you build a completely new stadium elsewhere, they could play in this rickety old piece of garbage until the new one's ready, and then they could just put the wrecking ball to this piece of crap. Right? I mean, oh, but what about the home field advantage? Do I need to remind you of the Saints game a couple years ago? Right? We let a dome team come into Cleveland in the middle of a frigid snowstorm and beat us. There is no such thing as a home field advantage for this team. It doesn't even matter. Now, Zach Jackson also added, "Why HB Field and not Stadium?" Well, he has an answer. There's already a Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, home of University of Minnesota football. So, yeah, that's why it's Huntington Bank Field. And, in case you forgot, there's also a Huntington Bank Park down in Columbus, where the Columbus Clippers, who are the AAA affiliate of the Guardians, play. So Huntington Bank is raking in that dough with these naming rights deals. Well, like I said, it could have been much worse, right? I mean, but all I care about is winning some damn games. I mean, they could have called this joint the Poo Poo Platter Stadium. Just win some games. I don't care what you call it. Just win games. That's all I care about. Although, like I said, Huntington Bank Field, the worst name, but yeah, just win. And damn it. This should be our motto. And damn it. Now, as far as what the signage will look like on the outside of the stadium, I did find this image of the side of the stadium. And I didn't even look that bad. Of course, they're going to have Huntington Bank Field on the top and then on the inner part where the lights are, just like where they had First Energy Stadium before. Now, Progressive Field is like, not enough signs. Yeah, Progressive Field's like, yeah, not enough signs. You could probably put a sign on each pillar and every little freaking steel rod. You could put a sign on the windows, and just put a sign everywhere. Cover the whole place in Huntington Bank Field signs. There's not enough signs. They need more. It's like, more signs. Oh my god. Gotta love it. Now, with that being said, let's get into talking about this game. Now, to start it off, I got a depth chart to go over. Gotta love it. That's how you know football is officially back, when you see the first official regular season depth chart. If you look at the bottom, of course, it says rookies are underlined. You see a couple rookies on there. And injured players are in brackets. Do you see any brackets? I don't see any. Even Jedrick Wills isn't in a bracket. Is he back? Because if he is, that's huge for us. But yeah, looks to be really good stuff for the Browns coming up. Doesn't appear that anybody's really hurt too bad. I'm sure guys are banged up. You know, they're going to take it easy with those guys, like Jed Wills. I mean, he's not really hurt. He's just not practicing because you know how he is. Taking his good old time getting back. If he doesn't play this week, at least we have Jack Conklin to fill his spot. And he has played a little left tackle back in college. So it's been a while, but I'm sure he could do it. Now, getting into the actual game preview portion of this video, of course, if you're still watching, shout out to you guys. I took forever to get to this part, but there's a lot to talk about. So, starting off with the serious history between these two teams, the Browns actually lead the overall series 18-14. Dallas, of course, won in 2016 when they came to Cleveland and beat our faces in. That was when we went, what, 1-15? And then we got them back in 2020 during the sickness year when we went to Dallas and kicked their faces in. And then they tried to make a comeback, and then, we thwarted that. Now, here's a fun fact 2020 was the first time the expansion Browns beat the Cowboys, and the first time overall since 1994. So, yeah, pretty cool, right? Now, getting into my keys to victory for this game on Sunday against the Cowboys, it's pretty simple. Number one, defense set the tone. Defense goes out there, forces a couple 3-and-outs while the offense gets going, and we'll be fine. Heck, maybe the defense forces a turnover or two and really puts the offense in a good spot to start the game. Because I'm telling you what, if our defense goes out there and wreaks havoc, that crowd is going to start going nuts. And if that crowd gets into it, it's going to be rough for Mr. Dak Prescott. Because not only would he have to deal with Myles Garrett possibly ripping his head off his shoulders, but also he probably wouldn't be able to hear because the crowd is too damn loud. Right? Because believe it or not, Browns fans can get very loud, especially if they're rather intoxicated, which, given how much time will pass between the Mooney-Lot opening and this game starting, my guess is Browns fans at the game, especially those in the Dawg Pound, will be pretty much sloshed by the time this game gets going. They're going to be ready to go. Yep. It's going to be fun. Key number two, let Deshaun cook. Of course, this would be his first game in about, 10 months? Since November, week 10, against the Ravens, when he shredded them in the fourth quarter to lead us to a victory. We'll see how he looks, right? He hasn't played in a long time. He might be a little rusty. I don't expect him to be too rusty. Of course, we didn't see him at all in the preseason, but from what I've seen during training camp, he looks good. But yeah, this will be the first time we see him in an actual game setting since that Ravens game. So we'll see how the shoulder looks. We'll see how Kevin Stefanski, uses him. I don't expect him to run around like a damn chicken with his head cut off a whole lot. But I'm going to need Amari, Jerry Jeudy, and company. I'm going to need them to help out Deshaun. I need them to get open and make plays. Of course, we don't really have a run game. Nick Chubb's not back yet, and we got to rely on Mr. Sideline to Sideline, Jerome Ford, and Deontay Foreman, who's actually pretty good. And then you have Pierre Strong. What about Gary Brightwell? Who? Do you really think we're going to rely on Gary Brightwell? A dude we just signed to the practice squad? Come on now. No. I kind of wish the Browns would have drafted a running back, but I guess they didn't think Chubb would be still gone, pretty much. Like he's out 4 weeks, right? I would have at least tried to sign a running back or something, right? Dalvin Cook, because he's familiar with Kevin's system. But of course, he goes to the damn Cowboys. And speaking of the Cowboys, they might have the most washed running back room in the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook. That running back room would have been elite in 2018. Too bad it's 2024. Yeah, that'll be fun, especially going up against our D line. Yep. And of course, Myles Garrett has to go up against a rookie. That'll be fun. Good luck, Rook. You're going to need it. Now, my final key, no dumb penalties or turnovers. Take care of the ball and just don't be stupid. It's week one, so I expect some penalties because it happens, but nothing dumb, right? Try to limit the drive killing penalties because it seems like whenever we get cooking, flag every time. Flag. Oh, look, a 30-yard gain. Flag. Oh, wow, Deshaun Watson threw a 50-yard pass. Flag. Touchdown Browns. Flag. Happens every time. So try to limit those penalties and we should be fine. And then, of course, don't turn the ball over. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to give Dak Prescott good field position to possibly beat you. And you don't want to give the Cowboys more chances to beat you than they're already going to have to. Now, as far as my player to watch, I think you guys already know who this will be. Myles Garrett, right? Facing essentially his hometown team again. And he's going to have his sights set on getting after Dak Prescott and making plays, forcing turnovers, strip sacks, or maybe, influencing an interception, right? Maybe he gets his hand up, he bats the ball up, and someone picks it off. Kind of like what we saw in the Buckeye game on Saturday, right? Goes off the freaking helmet. Linebacker picks it off, takes it to the house. Never know with Miles. Heck, he might try to pick off a ball himself. But yeah, Myles Garrett's going to be the player to watch here. He's going up against a rookie in Tyler Guyton. I expect the Cowboys to try to double and triple team Myles to slow him down. But of course, as we know, you can't stop him. You can only slow him down. So we'll see what happens. I expect double and triple teams for Myles. And we'll see if Za'Darius and the others can get going if that does happen. So that's my player to watch, Myles Garrett, obviously. And then getting to my prediction. I think you guys know where I'm headed with this. I'm going Browns 27-17. I think it'll be a one touchdown game late, and the Browns go down the field and they get themselves a field goal to put it out of reach. And the Browns go 1-0 for the third straight year. And of course, they beat the Cowboys again. So that's really all I got for this one. Damn, this video is almost going 20 minutes. Oh my God. I usually try to keep these videos around 10 to 15 minutes, but man, dude, 18, almost 20 minutes. Jeez. Shout out to everyone who watched this entire thing. Y'all the goats for real. Shout out to any Cowboys content creators who might be watching this video. Of course, my guy Duke Bothers, Simus, Maj, D-Town, Cowboys Face, Cowboys Crusader. I haven't seen him in a minute though, but yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to all the cool Cowboys fans, right? The Cowboys fans that aren't casuals, right? You know what I'm talking about. Those Cowboys fans that essentially have a favorite team from all four corners of the United States in each sport. Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees, and whatever, right? Bruins or something. I don't know. But shout out to the real OG Cowboys fans that have been repping the star their entire lives. They've been to Jerry World. They went to the old stadium. They watched the team back before Romo was there, and yeah, those are the real ones right there. shout out to those guys. But yeah, should be a good game, but you already know it's just business. But got the Browns whooping that ass for real. And let's go out there and get a dub. So with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Browns. Let's start 1-0 again. And then we got the Jaguars next week. So yeah, we'll get to them later. With that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Browns. And I'm out. Bye-bye.